Good afternoon, family. I'm Brent, and we're here for Insured Families Fun Facts, Episode 2 of Equine Coverage. Last week, we went over equine mortality and the $5,000 emergency colic surgery that comes with that policy included in the premium. Today, we're going to get into some optional endorsements. Now, there's several endorsements that we can pick up, some being valued $20,000 or more per horse, some valued under $20,000. We'll break them into different episodes, so you guys stay tuned for those. However, today we're going to talk about the ones under $20,000 that's available, and that's colic endorsement and surgical endorsement. Those are also available on $20,000 value or higher, but they're the only two available for under $20,000. So colic endorsement is much like you or I having a cancer policy. As long as it's colic, it's going to pick up and pay coverage. There is a deductible, like with any of them. The deductible on both the colic and the surgical endorsement are going to be $250. The copay is going to be $80.20. That's on both colic and surgical endorsements. So let me give you kind of an instance. A lot of people say, well, why would we want to add it? If you have $5,000 emergency colic surgery included with the policy, why do we want to add it? So, and you certainly don't have to, but let me give you an instance. Say you've got a horse, an example, $20,000 value. That horse goes to the vet, colic, has to have the surgery if the horse passes away. So you've got a surgery, a colic surgery bill, and you've got a death of a horse. What we have seen happen in the past is you've got a $12,500 colic bill, or surgery bill, I'm sorry, from the veterinarian. That emergency colic surgery is going to pay out $5,000 there. You're going to have $7,500 left on that bill. If that horse passes, then they're going to cut a check for $20,000, the value of the horse. The problem is, bottom line, at the end of the day, you've got $12,000 as an insured, $12,500 to replace that $20,000 horse. So that's the problem that we're facing. That's what we can pick up, the colic endorsement or the surgical endorsement, that will offset that fear that we have of losing that value. So today, if you look at the colic endorsement in particular, it's going to run you cheaper than what most entry fees are going to run, whether it be a barrel race, roping, cutting, reining. Any of those entry fees are typically going to be higher than what either endorsement per year is going to be per horse, whether it be colic or whether it be surgical. The main difference is colic, again, if there is colic, that's going to trigger the coverage. If you take the surgical endorsement, same instance we just talked about, horse goes and has a surgery's $12,500. Will surgical come in and pay? Yes, the answer to that is it would trigger coverage and it would pay. Well, you say, well, what's the main differences in those two? You've got colic, you've got surgical. What's the two differences? Essentially, colic is going to have colic to trigger the coverage. Surgery is going to have a surgery to trigger the coverage. Meaning, surgical would pay that same scenario. Both endorsements would pay it, the same scenario. However, with surgical, if you've got an accident, if you've got a sickness, a disease, an abscessed tooth, kissing spine, navicular, whatever you've got, as long as it's not pre-existing condition to the policy and there is a surgery, then you would trigger coverage. Again, much like the colic endorsement, they're almost sibling endorsements. You're going to have a $250 deductible. You're going to have an 80/20 copay. So that's just part of the endorsements itself. Either the endorsement is going to be the same there. So I have several insurers that will pick up both. They'll pick up the colic and the surgical. And then I have several that'll say, well, if I do surgical, why would I want colic? Or if I pick colic, why would I want surgical? Very good question. Let's say you have surgical endorsement added to your policy. That particular policy that we spoke of, the particular instance that we spoke of where the horse colics, passes away, you've had the colic surgery, both would pay. But let's say that same horse colicked but stayed at the vet 7 to 10 days and didn't have to have surgery. Surgical would not pick up there because there would be no surgery, therefore no trigger for coverage. However, colic endorsement, because it would be a colic, would be triggered and it would pick up and pay. So just a couple of things there. Very cheap coverage, to be honest with you. And like I say, most of the time when, if you go to a barrel race or a roping or cutter, reiner, anywhere you're going to go, an entry fee is going to run you more than what these endorsements cost. So a cheap way to kind of offset our expenses that we could have from a vet due to colic or surgery. I hope some of this helps you as far as answering your questions with the endorsements. Again, we'll get into the medical tomorrow, so stay tuned. We'll get into that. But thank you for being a part of our family. And if you want to know more, hit that like, hit that share, hit that follow, and we'd love to see you become a part of our family. Thank you.